All right, everybody. Good Thursday evening. Meteorologist Alex Carter with you in the Fox 54 Digital Weather Center. A beautiful Thursday, a beautiful week, actually. It's just been phenomenal weather-wise. I think that's going to continue as we head into the weekend. We're going to get some storm chances, but it's not going to be many. So the good news there is if you're a fan of this dry weather, we're not going to have any days to spoil your weekend per se. So thank you so much for joining us. Again, Weather Aware Live tonight as we're coming to you at about 6:05 this evening. And some showers and thunderstorms just on our doorstep tonight. We're going to talk about those, what's ahead for your weekend forecast, and our next named storm is about to form in the tropics. So lots more to get to tonight in this edition of Weather Aware Live, and you can also join us on Fox 54 News at 6:30 as well. Here's the latest on Doppler radar. You see it tonight. We are mainly staying dry this evening, but there's a few of us that have a chance of rain. Very small few of us, might I add. So there's that 10% chance that we were talking about yesterday. Again, if you're just joining us, good evening. I'm going to let y'all filter in for just another second before we really take that deeper dive. But in the meantime, definitely going to be a slightly more active pattern this weekend, but it's not going to be a whole lot. And we'll touch on the tropics for much of this as well and just make sure that you guys are up to date on kind of what's happening out there. That's for sure. Okay, good. Glad to see that. Kathy, hey, good to see you. As always, here on our Weather Aware Lives. I've seen you there a couple of times, I believe. And here we go. Let's go ahead and show you this. And let's zoom in on Doppler radar tonight. Most of the storms have been to our north. There was actually a tornado warning in Knoxville, Tennessee. What we're watching is some of these heavier cells, might I add, near Athens, going into Oglethorpe County, Elbert County. This is right near Enterprise. So if you're near the border of Washington or Wilkes County, going up towards, say, Highway 78 or up towards Elberton, this is where we're watching a stronger storm right now. Not severe, but you see that purple core. That could indicate that we could see at least some very heavy rain. I think the hail threat with these is pretty low today, but just something we're monitoring from afar at this point. I'm going to take Columbia off of it. Yeah, I mean, still looking pretty impressive anyway you cut into the storm here on radar. But still, not a whole lot out there tonight. Zooming out and putting some motion on it, it's going to be areas along Highway 378 that have the rain chance this evening. So looking at where these storms are moving, how they're behaving, a few of us could get a downpour tonight, the first one in quite a while, especially north of I-20, kind of on a diagonal track. East-southeast towards McCormick and Edgefield. These are places that we'll be watching for a few showers later on this evening. You see it there on the Futurecast. By, say, 8 o'clock, our rain chances are slim to none. So if it's going to happen, it's going to happen here in the next couple of hours and nothing more than that. Overnight tonight, we're going to stay dry as well. Temperatures going to be in the mid-60s to kick off your Friday. So let's go over to tomorrow real quick, knock this out. Not a whole lot going on. In meteorology, we say west warms the best, and that is true in this case, okay? So a west wind is going to warm us up pretty nicely, and we are expecting temperatures in the low to mid-90s tomorrow. So return of summer heat, if you will, and it's not going to go anywhere, at least for the next little bit. So we are anticipating temperatures at about, say, 93 degrees for your Friday, 93 degrees for your Saturday. It's going to be pretty toasty out there, low to mid-90s. And you see the rain chances this weekend. There it is, Saturday and Sunday. There's a chance at a few pop-up storms each afternoon and each evening. Now, these are not going to be washout conditions, okay? So don't cancel your plans, but don't be taken aback, if you will, by some showers or thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon or Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening. Saturday starts off sunny. We'll see partly sunny skies on Saturday afternoon as the clouds off of this approaching cold front move in. The answer is yes. This cold front is going to pass us by Monday morning. So we are anticipating some cooler conditions once again and drier air just in time for early next week. Look at that, though. This is Saturday going into Sunday. We're expecting hit-or-miss storms on Saturday afternoon and evening, heavy downpours, some lightning, and some rumbles of thunder. That's possible on Saturday. We get into Sunday, and once again, the clouds will be with us a little bit more earlier in the day on Sunday. That's because the front's virtually going to be right over us. And then as we get into Sunday afternoon, our model's showing a drier picture. It's showing most of the moisture being down towards the coastline. But I still think a few pop-up storms are possible on Sunday, so don't necessarily take this as the absolute truth on Sunday afternoon. I still think a few storms are possible, but again, it's not going to be many. So bottom line, this weekend is sunny, it's hot, and we'll see a few pop-up storms each afternoon and evening, but nothing that we are not used to this time of year. Okay, let's get to the tropics. This weather pattern, honestly, very quiet. We'll take it. I'm definitely a fan of it. If you're a fan of the cooler temperatures, we get those back next week. So don't fret just yet. We are anticipating another cool down coming very soon. Now let's get to the tropics, though. Again, we're about to enter the actual peak of hurricane season. That's typically September 13th, only 9 days away from that. And, as we were telling you earlier this week, and we'll give you the latest on this too, I wanted to show you kind of this broad overview. The areas that we're watching starting next week into the week after that, the Caribbean and the Southern Gulf, a little bit more of a favorable environment for potential low-pressure centers to become more organized. This is not saying we're going to have a hurricane or a tropical storm here by September 10th through the 16th. That's not what it's saying at all. This is saying that conditions will be more favorable for tropical development as we get into the middle to late part of this month, which is no surprise. We typically see our most active period in the tropics from mid-September to mid-October. And that's what's going to be happening over the next little bit. So, again, nothing to be worried about or frightened or scared over. This is just something that we're watching. Here it is. This is a tropical wave. They call it Invest 91L, some big jargon for we're about to name this Gabrielle here in the next couple of days. Sustained winds at 25 miles an hour. Not very strong right now, but it is going to strengthen, and it's going to push due west. There's the tracks. This is by next Tuesday, right? By next Tuesday, it has this potential system right near the Lesser Antilles, the Caribbean islands. So areas on the northern half of the Caribbean islands will have to monitor that, especially areas such as Anguilla and just multiple islands down in that direction, Barbados potentially, some places like that. Where it goes from the Caribbean islands, up for debate. There's so much that could happen, so many different scenarios, and you see it here. I've painted this picture out because I really want you to digest this. If it's going a little bit further out towards the sea, out to the Atlantic Ocean, and it curls out, that means that the storm has strengthened considerably between now and next Sunday, excuse me. So that's something we're watching, right? If it strengthens faster, the more likely it curls out to sea before it ever makes it to the United States. But the slower it develops, the more likely it stays on a more westerly track, and that's when it grabs our attention a little bit more because it'll get closer potentially to our coastline, and that always bears monitoring. So again, just something we're watching for now. Typically, the worst storms that we have seen historically in the CSRA have happened coming in from the Eastern Gulf. That's not to say an impactful storm cannot happen coming in from the Atlantic. That's why we've got close eyes on it, and we're going to be watching this heavily as we head into the next couple of weeks. If it were to make a East Coast landfall, right now the estimated date would be somewhere around the 16th or the 17th, so not any time next week, but maybe the week after that, it would be closer to the United States. So again, nothing to worry about. Don't want to scare you, but Gabrielle, which is what it's going to be called, is one that we are going to be closely monitoring here in the Fox 54 Weather Center. But again, we still got a ways away from that. Beautiful weather over the next 7 days predominantly. It's going to get hot tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday, highs in the low to mid-90s. Temperatures will cool down Monday through next week considerably in the 80s. Sunday, that's when I am eyeing some potential showers and storms as well as Saturday. So there's your weekend breakdown. Look at that. Hit or miss spotty storms on Saturday afternoon. And then we get to Sunday, and we could see more of the same. So we'll just be watching that. But in the meantime, it is gorgeous weather as always, especially what we've had as of late. Really good streak of the nice weather, and I think we'll take that for sure. Patricia, Linda, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here on Weather Aware Live tonight. If you're curious about Weather Aware Live, this is a show that we do on the Digital Center. It airs on Facebook, and it airs on YouTube. we take a deeper dive into the weather that we simply can't do in a newscast. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate that. It's another edition of Weather Aware Live. And, of course, we appreciate you guys following along here in the Fox 54 Digital Weather Center. As for tonight, make sure to join us on Fox 54 News at 6:30. We'll be with you in just about less than 15 minutes. We'll be talking more about Gabrielle, what's ahead for your weekend forecast, and we've got all the latest news updates as well. Hope you stay tuned, and we'll see you soon. Have a safe Thursday night and a safe Friday as well.